All right, my friends, welcome back to the RPG Backlog, where I guess the goal was for me to go through the backlog of RPGs so I could play some old games. And that's what's happening. I'm here with Travis, and it's just us two. We are digging into Bastion by Supergiant Games. Travis, what have you played from Supergiant Games?
What have I played? We just had this conversation. Now I'm drawing a blank. Holy crap. Okay, so in all fairness, I did play Bastion to some degree back in 2011 when it was released on the Xbox. I remember the gist of it, which it was like a world that kind of is falling apart and would randomly, like, pieces of it would come back up while you're moving around, kind of like a falling platforming thing. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, I don't remember much else about the game, and I know I didn't beat it at the time. And then the other game that we were both discussing is we both have played Hades. I love that game. I know for a fact I do not love it as much as you do.
Oh my God, it was my game of the year in 2020. I love the shit out of Hades.
Which, like I said, it's an amazing game and I love it, but I will openly admit that my love is nowhere near that level for you.
Holy shit.
We were discussing it again. Because I liked Bastion, but I never beat it, and I liked Hades. I own Transistor, but I've never played it. So, if you want to get technical, the only thing I've played is really Hades and Bastion, and I don't remember Bastion except for very high level concept.
Yeah, my history with Bastion is actually similar to yours. I played about an hour of Bastion when it released on, maybe not when it released, but I played it on the Vita. Played it for about an hour because Anthony was talking about how much he loved, no, we were playing Transistor. So yeah, let me back up. Anthony played Transistor and just loved the shit out of it. And he kept talking about it on our podcast. And I was like, well, I got to check this game out. And I was homesick one day and I was like, well, I'll load it up. And it's like a 6-hour game. So it's one of the few games I've actually played like the whole game in one day. And it's incredible. So hopefully we get to that. I would love to play that again. But then he was like, well, you should check out Bastion then. And I did. And I stuck with it for an hour. And the thing that stands out to me the most is the falling platforms, like the world coming in. So the calamity, which we'll talk about the story of the game a little bit. But then the narrator, like everything is narrated.
Yes.
It's really cool. I think it's cool.
I do remember that. I remember it being like what is the actor's name from? He's really famous. He was in Tombstone. He was not the main character. He was one of the brothers. He was in
Val Kilmer?
No. I don't know who Val Kilmer is. The older gentleman with the handlebar mustache.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about. Sam something? Sam.
Oh my God, this is good. I have to look this up. This is bothering me.
But the voice reminds you of him?
Sam Elliott,
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, like I remember having like that really deep, like calming like effect. And that's Sam Elliott. Like when he talks, you just kind of feel this like deep, calming sensation. At least I do. Yep. So I remember that being a thing, and it was really kind of, as I recall, the narrator was also kind of vague. Like he would just kind of say what exactly was going on, but it was just enough to give you as a player some idea of what the world was, but not like spoon feed it like you would expect a narrator to do.
Yeah, it felt like little chunks, right? Just enough to keep you interested and keep you going forward. The voice actor is Logan Cunningham, who plays Hades, or I think Hades. He plays Lord Hades in Hades. I think that's right. So
I think your word for it.
Yeah, I think he's been in every Supergiant game. Let me see. Yeah, he played Lord Hades in Hades. He played characters in. Oh shit. Okay, he played characters in Pyre, and he played the Transistor in Transistor, which I believe is the sword, the voice of the sword. No, the voice of the sword was a singing female, wasn't it?
I don't know. I never played it.
Oh, what the fuck, yeah. Why am I asking you?
I don't know. You need to ask Anthony that question,
you just ascertained you haven't played this fucking game, and I'm asking you very specific details about it. Good job. Good job, dude. Yeah, I teach college for a living. I can remember things.
I can barely teach myself how to do simple things, and yet I knew this. Anyways.
But yeah, so Bastion, developed by Supergiant Games. Bastion was the first one, and was published, you had pointed out, published by Warner Brothers back in 2011.
Which caught me off guard when I saw that. I was like, holy shit, how different a publisher has changed over the last,
God, totally.
I mean, I won't even give them the full time period, but in a decade, right?
Yeah,
Just
right.
That time period, they went from doing these things with indie teams, essentially be like, hey, you're an indie developer, let me publish your stuff, and putting some amazing stuff out in the world, to we're just not going to go down this path of what they are right now. But yeah, triple A gaming fail. Let's leave it at that.
Exactly. Well, and just Suits taking over and ruining everything. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, we could go down this path forever.
Yes, podcast for sure.
Yeah, we'll walk away from this one.
Yeah. But it's 2011. It was one of the I'm not going to say first, but it was a big downloadable only game, right? It was Xbox Live Arcade. It was a big one on there. It won Best Downloadable Game of the Year at IGN and Game Informer. It looks like I may be reading that wrong, but it's won several awards for Best Downloadable Game. And then I don't know if you know much about the composer, Darren Korb.
Sorry, I play video games. I'm a nerd about the games themselves, but the people who make them, I've never stepped in that world. So
Darren Korb is amazing. You've played Hades, so you know how great the music in Hades is.
Yes.
But Darren Korb was the childhood friend of I believe the director of Bastion. So it kind of pulled him in. He was doing like a little bit of TV and movie stuff, and they pulled him in to do Bastion. And what I remember, and maybe you know better because you played a little bit recently, it's like acoustic guitar, kind of almost Western-y kind of stuff. Is that right?
Yes, and I think that's why it kind of lends the narrator's voice and reminded me of Sam Elliott too.
Oh, sure. Well, that makes sense. That Western twang. In fact, I showed my wife asked before I came out to the booth tonight. It's like, oh, what are you and Travis playing? I said, we're playing Bastion. Let me show you a little bit on YouTube. So I put up a playthrough, and she's like, it's like a Western? Is this game a Western? It's like, no, I don't think it is, but maybe. I don't know.
So full disclosure, I know this is a zero episode, but I played a little bit the other day, which I'm not supposed to, but I got a little.
We admitted we played like an hour back in the day when it came out. Anyways, all good.
Yeah, but it does. So while it is not a Western, it does have that feel to it, which is really weird. Like there's a weapon that you get very early on because you start off with weaponless and you get a few weapons, and it the way they introduce it almost feels like you're stepping into a Western, but then the very next weapon you get is totally not set in that world. So it's really weird how they just kind of, it gives you that vibe, but it never fully steps into it, I guess. Well, at least from what little bit I've seen so far. Whether or not it fully steps into it later on, we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just knowing Supergiant Games, kind of taking a few things from different points of inspiration and kind of meshing them together. Overall, I think this is, at least what I'm reading here, action role-playing game, level-based structure, gameplay. The story, there's a calamity that happened, some sort of event where the city of Ceylondia. I don't know if they've said it in the game. I haven't heard it, so I'm just reading the phonetic alphabet here.
I couldn't answer that if I wanted to. I think he does say it.
He does. We will report back next week, folks.
Yeah.
That he is pronounced. But you're taking control of a character called the Kid, who's a silent protagonist. Obviously, the game is narrated by the Sam Elliott sounding Logan. Whoops, I just lost my page. Logan, what did I say? Logan something? Logan Cunningham. There we go. I'm using a new mouse, and apparently my right click is page back. So I'm like on the wrong page all of a sudden. But you're basically rebuilding the Bastion, which is the central town, right?
Yeah. So as what I remember and what I've, so I'm going to go off of memory from a long time ago. I remember the kid never saying anything, and I don't even think he ever get his name from what I recall.
Yeah, it's just
but literally, the calamity was literally the world fell apart.
Okay.
and that's why there's like why the platforms are kind of there and stuff's just kind of floating. And as you go around collecting, they looked like crystals, but I think they were called something. Maybe they were called whatever. You put power back into the bastion where you started, and then you could bring pieces of it back. So I remember there was like a thing like a smithing place where you could build new weapons, or there was like a bar. There was multiple things that you could bring back that helped you get more powerful too. But that was your whole goal, was to bring that back. But also remember that throughout the thing, you kind of ran into people that used to be around but were turned to stone, which I was like,
gosh, okay.
So it was really kind of dark because, as I recall, you started off alone, but you slowly, I can't remember if you actually repopulated or not, but you brought the Bastion back to life. And whether or not people started occupying it, I can't remember. Well, anyways. But yeah, that's why it feels like it's falling apart, because literally the world is crumbling around you.
Yes, the what it says here is that the whole idea for this game is based around the idea of creating a town like those found in role-playing games. That there's a fractured floating world that they wanted to portray, and they talked about, because I guess maybe Pyre's different, but Transistor, Bastion, and Hades is like the isometric top-down. Don't portray the sky in their games, so they wanted to put this kind of that fractured world where like you could see the sky like underneath, basically, because they never got the chance to show the sky in the types of games that they liked, which is pretty interesting. This was a team of 7 people when they made this. Obviously, Supergiant Games is bigger now, but geez, that's crazy. The writer is someone, Greg Kasavin, who used to work at GameSpot. So that's kind of cool, moving from games media to writing. Yeah.
That's cool. That's a nice trend. See, and then that makes me wonder what happened to GameSpot since then. All the people that cared moved on to other things.
Yeah, making some cool games, so that's all right. So this says that the musical style of the soundtrack was described by Korb as acoustic frontier trip hop.
That would make sense. That's why it kind of has that Western feel, but never fully probably steps into it.
Exactly. That's pretty cool. Are you playing this on PC? What are you playing this on?
Yeah, PC.
Oh, okay. I'm going to play it on Switch. So we'll see how that goes.
It's on the Switch too?
Oh, it's on fucking everything now. iOS, iOS.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, it's on Windows, Mac, Linux, 360, Xbox One, and, everything after Xbox One. iOS, PlayStation 4, Vita, Switch.
Huh.
Yep.
I mean, it's a 14-year-old game. I would hope it's on a bunch of things by now.
Exactly.
I mean, I remember, like I said, playing it on the Xbox, and then I keep buying Xboxes and then never using them.
Yep, me too.
And
I rarely use mine.
I don't even know where mine is after we moved last time.
No.
I think it's in the storage unit. So I remember years ago I bought it on Steam, and then never did crap afterwards with it. I think I had the intention of going back and playing it and beating it finally, since I never did the first time around. And so now this is just kind of a good chance to do that.
Yep. We build the backlog. Now it's time to go back and play through the backlog.
Oh, God, I don't think I'm going to live long enough to go through my entire backlog.
Oh, God, no. My Steam library alone is 1,000 games. And that's like, probably the biggest library that I have, but Jesus.
Wow. You got really? Oh, I think we've had this conversation before. Yeah, you've got me beat on the video games, which is kind of funny because I think I dove into them more so than you did in the college years. I could be wrong.
You did. I have you beat on how many games I've purchased, but in terms of gameplay hours, you have me far, 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 far beat.
Okay, well, we got to take Destiny out of that conversation.
Okay, because I was thinking, that was exactly what I was thinking about, was Destiny. I've seen your Destiny numbers. It's crazy.
Anyways, yes.
How long to beat has Bastion at 6 hours. Main story, main and sides 9, and then completion is 12.5, and all styles around 8. So I'm going to guess we're going to hit around 8, 9, maybe. We do some side content when we play things.
I'll probably hit the 10 just because if I see those little side things pop up, they'll. This is why we had the conversation. I could not play Assassin's Creed Valhalla because I got to out of the main starting area. I saw the map. I was like, nope, can't do this. I will die before I can complete this because I cannot not see the map with a bunch of shit on it and not go do it.
Well, and that game would populate new shit after you did stuff too.
Yeah, that was what really killed me. I did something. I was like, oh, sweet, I did this. We cleared it off my map. Open up a map. 5 more things popped up. Nope. I literally remember seeing that and turning that shit off, uninstalling it, and I have never touched it since. Because I know that's my weakness when it comes to games. So this one, if it pops up on, as I recall, I think there was a way to travel between sections. And so there was like a little overview map. So if it pops up on the map, I will end up doing it.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, if it ends up being like a narrative that hooks me or the gameplay hooks me, I'll want to do more. Otherwise, I'll probably just kind of critical path it. We're taking what's the right word? Flavor break
palate cleanser?
Thank you, Jesus Christ. Flavor break? What the hell is that? Yes, this is a palate cleanser.
No. Going forward, it's a flavor break. Screw that noise. From now on, I am not cleansing my palate. It's a flavor break.
It's a flavor break. I was like, there's a term for this, and I cannot remember it right now. Again, I teach English for a living, folks. This is a palate cleanser between Final Fantasy 1 and 2. We're going to take on Bastion
2 and 3.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. I don't know what's wrong with my brain. Between Final Fantasy 1 and 2. We're checking out Bastion. We'll see if we roll into Transistor. Who knows? But we're going to have a good time here. Travis, you found... Sorry, go ahead.
You did it again. You said 1 and 2 again.
It is 1 and 2, right? Final Fantasy 1 and 2, right?
No, we're break between Final Fantasy 2 and 3, dude.
No, what I'm trying to say is that we played Final Fantasy 1 and 2, and now we're taking a break for 3. Yeah.
The way you said it made it sound like we were taking a break between 1 and 2. I'm like, no, dude, we've already done 1 and 2. Like,
no, we're gonna play 2 again. God damn it!
No, I thought we were gonna play 1 again to where you could, or was it? No, it was 2 again to where you could do the other part.
No, I don't. I'm just gonna watch that on YouTube. I don't think it's worth it for me to play it again. But you found the walkthrough. Why don't you talk to us about what the chunks look like?
I get to talk about this. I mean, I just kind of went looking, and now I lost. Oh, there it is. Okay. So it has each one of these, and so from what little bit I've played here recently, and what I remember, each one of these are distinct little maps. So like they have the things like you start off in the Wharf District. There's little sections like the Bastion. I think I counted like 15 of them or 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to count it loud now. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Jesus Christ, I cannot count. 20 of these. I think we might be able to do this in like sections of like groups of at least 5, maybe more.
That's what I was thinking too. Like maybe taking it 5. Usually in our playthroughs, we hit like 2 to 3 hours per week. And if this is only like a 10-hour game or whatever, I think 5 sounds right.
Because 5 would put us around. If we say it's 10 hours, there's 20 of them. Technically, you should be able to hit 2 of them per hour.
Yeah.
Right. So 5 would be about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, 5 per chunk. So looks like we're going to start with the Wharf District for people who've played this game and this means anything to them. Wharf District, the Bastion, the Workman Ward, the Melting Pot, and the Sundown Path is going to be our first chunk. And then always off mic and in Discord, we decide if that really makes sense when we get there, or we might keep going.
Think so. Again, since I jumped ahead and started playing a little bit, and I know the Bastion isn't really a section that you play, it's really just the home hub. We might end up going a little bit further this time around.
Sure, that makes sense.
We might find, in all honesty, that if you end up mainlining this as opposed to doing some other stuff, because in here there's other things in here, like there's the thing called Proving Grounds. These are another little challenges and sections where you get additional abilities or weapons. I think it's abilities, it's not weapons. So those, are not required, but might be something that we do. But if you end up mainlining it, and then we might be able to move through faster.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll know once we get in. But some of these challenges look pretty interesting. You get something. You get weapons, it looks like.
So I don't know about that going forward because again, since I jumped ahead, I did do one of the proving grounds, and all it did was give me an additional ability with an existing weapon I had already picked up.
Okay.
So I don't know if the other ones are actually going to give us weapons. I don't think they do. I think they just give you abilities to tag onto this. Because I can tell you right now, looking at this, the first 3 of the proving grounds in here are weapons that you pick up in the first couple sections.
That you pick up anyway, so that you don't need to. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Like the other, so the only one, and we'll discuss this more. Only one of the proving grounds has popped up for me, which I did, and the other 2, I have the weapons. Actually, one of the weapons you pick up is like the second one you pick up. And even that proving ground hasn't shown itself yet. And I don't know I don't actually know what the trigger is to get the proving grounds to show up. I don't know whether you have to upgrade the weapon or you have to use it a certain amount of times. I have no idea.
I think as we play, it'll open up to us and we'll figure out what we're going to dig into on the side stuff for sure. Art style, I think... I don't know. How would you classify the art style? Is it pixel? Is it?
No, it is not pixel. It's like, it's not like cell shaded, but it is a very unique look to it.
Yeah.
I mean, Transistor is the same style, but the characters are a little more shaped in this a little bit more oddly than what I think they are in Transistor from what I remember from seeing screenshots. Transistor, like, people look kind of like people. But in this one, like, the kid's head is way bigger than the rest of it. Like, it's proportionally does not make sense to the rest of them. But it is, as I recall, and I'll have to look at Transistor, it's like not cell shaded, but it is it almost looks like it's been hand drawn.
Yeah, that's where I was leaning. Is like, I wonder if this is hand drawn. And I know there was an artist. I guess I could go click on the artist's name and figure this out. But it strikes me as being hand drawn, which I don't know shit about shit. So who knows? But
yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was like, it's very unique. Like we can definitely say that.
Yeah, it says after seeing... So the artist is Jen Z, an American artist and the art director at Supergiant Games. She joined Supergiant in March 2010 as a contractor to work on Bastion and was quickly brought on as full-time art director. Obviously, her art is just gorgeous in Hades. After seeing Z's work where she drew the Bastion for the game, the 2 co-founders immediately asked her to join the project full-time. Her artwork for Bastion often went straight into the game, and she later described the work as super empowering because the ownership she was given. Tell me what kind of work? Kind of. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks hand drawn. So.
Yeah, it has a very unique feel. That was one of the things that I think. You see this one, and you see how every Supergiant game since then, which makes sense that she's been the art director for their games. You very much see their style. It's just consistent in all their games.
Well, yeah, like the isometric, like even just the screenshot I looked at from Bastion, where it's like the isometric, the kids in a room, and just the way that the room is decorated is like, this is Hades. Like, this looks like Hades decorations. Different stuff, different motif, of course, but.
Yeah, it's a very unique look to it, and it's really cool. I think that's awesome that they have this style to themselves. Yeah,
it's great. So when we talked about this coming out in 2011, the Open Critic is an 88%, so pretty highly rated. IGN gave it a 9. Game Informer 9.3, GameSpot 9, there's 2 GameSpots here, 9 and an 8. That's weird. Anyway, lots of 9s, some 8s, but really, really high ratings across the board.
Overwhelmingly positive on Steam.
Oh, nice.
So 95% positive lifetime out of 27,000 plus reviews. So yeah, it's it's one of those ones I think that's just kind of well loved, and at least for those that have tried it. I could be wrong, but I'm going to assume it's well loved considering the fact that the reviews across the board.
Well, and then, I mean, Supergiant Games just continues to hit, right? Transistor was great. I never really dipped into Pirate too much, but then Hades obviously was off the charts. So it's going to be really cool. Just like with Final Fantasy, I'm so excited to go back to the beginning of this lineage and see what it was like at the start.
So I never did Pirate either because I think it was a team-based game, which was really different. And at first, because I remember being like, oh, Supergiant's doing this, I'm going to do it. And then I found out it was a team-based game. I'm like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was saying I had previewed it at PSX. God, I think it was 2016. I think that's right. And exactly like the team-based like sport mechanic, I was like, not really something I'm feeling right now. But I probably will get to it before the end of the year.
That's hilarious, though. I'm just looking at it. Interestingly, that in Steam, Bastion is now labeled as the publisher. Supergiant is labeled as the publisher and the developer.
Yeah, because in 2019 it reverted back to Supergiant to publish this game. Warner had it until then.
Which is funny that it still says Warner Brothers when I booted up as a publisher.
Well, I'm sure you would think they would go back and change that, right? Because obviously its splash screen is coded into it. But yeah, guess not.
Yeah, and plus, Warner Brothers doesn't have a great track record in the industry right at the moment.
Yeah, maybe they're focused on Hades 2. We're not going to go back and take some.
I'm sure they've probably got bigger fish to fry, and Anthony's probably like, yeah, that's not worth it. I'm sure he'd come back, it's not worth the effort.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But unless you're really pissed at them, but they maybe gave them the leg up to get in, right? If it wasn't for them, then they wouldn't maybe have been a publisher. Who knows what that? I don't know what the story was,
I don't know. Again, it's surprising that Warner Brothers did it. I am grateful that they did, because if they hadn't, God only knows if we wouldn't have gotten everything that we've had from Supergiant.
Yeah, exactly.
Since then.
Right.
So.
Yep, exactly right. So I'm excited to dig into this. I'm going to play tonight right after the podcast. Get started. Anything else from you for the good of this podcast, episode 0?
No. This time around, I will be ready. I will not jump ahead.
That's what I said last time.
Hey, I will take credit that I haven't done that before. This is my first time, I think. Right?
Yes, I think so. And it's all good. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the duo. Back at it like a bad habit.
Oh God, yeah, this will be entertaining. I'm excited. So far, like I said, what little bit I played the game, I immediately locked in. I was like, going, "Yep, I remember this. This was fun."
Yep.
So
me too. I haven't loaded it up yet, but I will. I will tonight. But showing just that little bit to my wife, I was like, "Yeah, I remember that voice. This is gonna be fun. The writing's good. So let's go. Let's see how it goes." All right. Well, thanks for listening, folks. If you like our podcast, please rate it on your podcast service of choice. If you have any Bastion heads in your life, have them click over to this podcast. We're looking forward to digging into this and sharing the journey with all of you. We'll see you next week for episode 1 of Bastion, where we play through the first, couple hours of the game and see where we go. All right, folks. See you next week.
Peace.